What happens when law, business, and life collide? Each week on Lead Counsel, your host Tom Tona will take a deep dive into topics related to the law, the business of law, and life. There will be insightful discussions with industry insiders, experts, and thought leaders making significant contributions and meaningful differences in their fields of expertise. Tom is the founder and managing attorney at TonaLaw. He has been a practicing attorney since 1994 and the leader of TonaLaw since it opened in 2001. The goal of this podcast is to provide you with free information on law and the business of law, and to give you actionable tools related to each of these areas. Now, here's Tom.
Hey, welcome back to the Lead Counsel Podcast. Your host, Tom Tona. Before we jump into today's topic, I just want to take a minute to thank the sponsors of the podcast. This episode is sponsored by TonaLaw. They're not just another law firm. They're defining what it means to fight for their clients. We get a lot of attorney referrals from across the country. We pay fee participation in all jurisdictions where it's permitted. We focus on integrity, innovation, and relentless advocacy. TonaLaw is proving that the business of law can scale without losing its heart. If you want to see how a modern firm is built for impact and happy client referrals, check out TonaLaw.com. Mention again the Lead Counsel Podcast, and I'm happy to get on the phone with you. I'm here with Rachel Green. Rachel, what's the name of your firm?
Rachel Green Injury Law.
All right. So Rachel's got a firm out of, I think you're in Atlanta, right, Rach?
Yes, I'm in Atlanta.
Awesome. So tell people where we met. I'm going to let you tell most of the story today. Tell people how we met.
So we met at one of the John Fisher masterminds, and it was in Portugal, and it's a really good group. I went last year when they had it in Italy, and they're having another one next year. That's in Puerto Rico that I'm going to.
Oh, me too. Me too. That's awesome.
Oh, I'll see you there then.
Yes.
Yeah, so everyone, it's a cool group of attorneys, and we all get together and we have a mastermind, and we talk about just like how we run our firms, and we kind of help each other out. And that's how I was able to meet you and your wife. I believe we were on a boat.
We were on a catamaran on a sunset cruise.
Yeah, and it was super nice. It was beautiful, and we just started talking, and I guess we just hit it off from there.
Yeah, look, the reason why I wanted to have you on the podcast was, we could talk about what you do, right? You're a personal injury attorney, and, I love your branding, by the way, Bank on Green. I love it.
Oh, thank you.
But what really fascinated me was you just showed up so authentic, and you were telling me about this project that you have, right? The 35 by 35, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
So why don't you tell people what the 35 by 35 is, what inspired it, and, give people a little background.
So I'm trying to get to 35 countries by 35. My birthday's on Christmas. I'll be 33. So I have 2 years left. So right now I'm at 24 countries. So I plan to get to 35 countries by 35.
I love that. As somebody, fellow world traveler, I love traveling. It's my one indulgence. I always say to people, I don't spend a lot of money on things. I'm kind of frugal, and I love to invest and save and invest. But I love to travel, and I love good food. I don't like to travel cheap. So I believe in, traveling well. And maybe that's just because I've gotten older and discomfort doesn't really, kind of vibe with my age at this point in terms of my arthritic body and stuff. But yeah, Portugal was awesome. It was such a great experience. And meeting you was just, it just made me so happy because you just showed up so authentic and so intentional. And so I just thought it would be cool to share, because there's too many people in our profession, in my mind, that they make it like they signed on for this tortured kind of horrible life by becoming a lawyer. And you're exactly the opposite of that, right? You're 33, you travel in the world, and you're doing things on your terms. So where did this goal come from?
Well, my dad, he works in aviation. He's an aircraft maintenance mechanic. But when I was younger, he used to fly the little planes. And he had his private pilot license, so he would fly us around places. And my mom, her family's from Jamaica, so we would go there sometimes. And my parents just like to travel, so I think I kind of picked it up from them. And then one day I was like, oh, I wonder if I could do 35 by 35 and then have a country for every year of life. Because when you travel, you get new experiences, you meet new people, you try new food. And I feel like every time I come back from another country, I just come back with a different perspective and new ideas to implement into my life or my business. And so I was like, oh yeah, let me try to do that. And then eventually I want to try to get to all 7 continents. So I'm missing 2 continents as well right now. So
Nice.
yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, look, I agree with you. And one of the things that I found was that something about especially European travel, it really changes your life. It changes who you are every time you go. You come back a
Yes.
different person. I couldn't agree with you more. And what's cool about it too is if you marry up where you actually do some type of mastermind, if it's a day, if it's 2 days, whatever, how much that moves the needle, because it just allows your brain this expansive thought process among very high performers. I mean, there were a lot of people in that room that were, running multi-8-figure firms,
Yes.
multi-7-figure firms, doing really, really well. So I thought it was so cool. Now, when you went, were you by yourself?
Last year, when I went to the one in Italy, I was by myself. This year, I brought one of my friends from high school, actually. We were cheerleading captains together in high school, and she likes to travel too. She's actually been to, I think, 38 countries when we went. So when we went to the mastermind, we started in Portugal. And so she came to the mastermind with me. And then we went to Africa. We went to Morocco.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah.
We were supposed to do that. We were supposed to go to Morocco as well. We ended up going to the main city in Portugal just to see the main city, figuring, we're not going to go back to Portugal for a while. So,
yes, if you ever do go back to Portugal, it's a quick flight. So we flew to Morocco, and one of my other friends that's an attorney that I studied at Oxford with, we did a study abroad. And yeah, it was in 2017. We did a study abroad program, and that's how I met her at Oxford. And she graduated from Ohio State University. And so she met us there, and we had fun in Morocco. And then we all three went to Spain, and then we went home.
Wow. That's awesome. So how long were you abroad when you were doing this after Portugal?
We just did a week, so we kind of hit places really quickly because we all
Yeah,
had
you guys
to,
were bopping all over.
yeah. And last year when I went to the mastermind by myself in Italy, I went to Italy, and then I landed in Rome, but the mastermind was in Sicily, so I took a flight to Sicily, and then I came back to Rome. I went to Germany, Amsterdam, Belgium, Switzerland, and then I went
Wow.
back to Rome and came back home to Atlanta. So it was like a circle.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That is awesome. So for anybody listening to this, how big is your firm?
So my firm, there's 3 of us in the
Okay.
office, including me, and we're growing. We're about to hire someone else, and I just waved into Missouri, so we're going to open an office there as well. So we're like growing. I'm 3 years in. I'm just finished year 3, going into year 4.
Wow, fantastic. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thanks.
But I do think like it speaks to who you are. I mean, you are pretty fearless, man. You just show up in Europe. You could be by yourself. You're good to go. So like opening a second office, that's not going to really phase you all that much, right? Because you're comfortable traveling the world, the way you do. So
Yeah, like I noticed too, even when I go by myself, I still meet people. Like God puts people in my path. Like the people that came to the mastermind this year, I met them last year, and they all looked out for me. And I was by myself. Like I didn't have to go to any dinners alone or anything.
right. And, like that's the thing is you develop these bonds with people that, quite honestly, like when I was first starting out, we didn't have this. Like, do you know how long it took me to get into a room of firm owners that were breaking 8 figures? Like, it took me most of my career, whereas because you're willing to show up, be authentic, contribute to the group, all of a sudden now you've got this peer group that, you can literally pick up the phone and call any of us, right?
Yeah.
Like it's pretty cool. And it seems for you like travel is more about expansion. It's not like you're escaping anything. It's about expanding your view, your mindset, all of that, right?
Yeah, it's just fun to like you go somewhere new and you just meet different people. I mean, you learn about different religions. You just see different things. Like I know last year when we were in Italy, we all hiked a volcano that
Oh, really?
was not supposed to erupt, but it ended up erupting like the day before we hiked it.
Right.
It was like Mount Etna, just stuff that you wouldn't normally do, And then even when we went to Portugal, like everyone was so nice. And like, I mean, I definitely would go back to Portugal and Spain.
Me
Like,
too. I got to
for
tell
sure.
you, the beach where we first stayed, like where the
Oh my
actual
gosh.
mastermind was probably the nicest beach I've ever seen.
It was
And
beautiful.
Yeah, and it was my favorite part of the trip because I'm a beach guy. I was like,
Mhm.
I think I got there a week early and I stayed at the beach while we were waiting for the mastermind, and I slept on the beach every day. It was like a running joke. People would walk by like, he's sleeping again. And my wife and daughter would be like, he's sleeping again. So yeah, it was just awesome. And then we went to Lisbon. We went to Lisbon.
Yeah.
And I mean, what an amazing, culturally rich city. It was just so much fun. It was just so much fun. So, did you go to Lisbon?
No, I have to go
Okay.
back. So that's another.
Okay.
I have
Oh,
to.
yeah. Lisbon was awesome. Yeah. Lisbon was awesome. So, out of all the countries, I mean, 24 countries is not a small amount of travel. Give me your top 5 right now.
Oh, that's hard. My top number one is Vietnam. It's beautiful.
Really?
Yes, it is amazing. I think everybody should go to Vietnam. Like, it is so beautiful. The people are so nice. Everything is reasonably priced. I mean, like, immaculate views, everything. We had clothes made from scratch, shoes, like anything that you can think of, they can customize it. I love Vietnam. Like,
Awesome.
number
Awesome.
one.
You've been to France, right? Have you been to France?
Oh, yeah, I've been to
Okay.
France.
Okay.
hmm
Go ahead. What's number 2?
Greece. So
Okay.
Santorini, Crete. Crete is so beautiful. I feel like when people say Greece, they think of like Athens and Santorini, and I love Santorini, but Crete is so beautiful. It has like black sand beaches, and it's so pretty.
Okay.
And then number 3, I probably would say Thailand.
Really?
Thailand is really beautiful. They have like a lot of animals. Like I went to like an elephant safari. They have like a tiger. We can go see tigers, but I didn't have time to do that. But apparently you can like get up and close with the tigers if you're like not terrified of doing that. But the food is really good in Thailand. The people are nice. Bangkok is like very crowded, but it's like the malls are immaculate. They just go on and on and on. Like they have every store you can think of. I have like beautiful temples, and I really like Thailand. And then I guess number 4, I'm biased. I'm gonna say Jamaica, but that's because my family's from there, and I just love it. I love everything about Jamaica, the culture, the food, the beaches.
The
I
Blue
just
Mountain Coffee.
Yes, I love everything about it. And then, ooh, it's a tie, but maybe Switzerland.
Okay.
Switzerland is like very expensive. I think it's one of the most expensive countries in the world, if I'm not mistaken. But it's so beautiful. Like it looks like it's not real when you're there. It doesn't feel like it's a real place. It's
Okay.
the mountains, the greenery. I mean, it's like so beautiful. Everything is like almost like I guess sometimes when you're a kid and you watch Disney movies and you like, oh, this is so nice. So I guess maybe they get those concepts from these other countries. But
Right,
Switzerland
right,
is
right.
so beautiful, like everything.
Picturesque, right?
Yes, I mean everything is the train system is so easy to get around. It's not like Japan where I was confused. Switzerland is like it's very easy to navigate. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, favorite food from all of these travels? Do you have
Oh.
one that you pick up that you would pick?
So in Vietnam, they have like really good like just different rice dishes that you can kind of mix up. Like you can put eggs, like different seasonings. It's so good, and the steak there is really really good. Like really good.
Really? All right,
Yes.
you're making me want to go to Vietnam. You said that really
I tell
fast.
everybody. I have a video on my Instagram where I talk about Vietnam. I have Vietnam is so beautiful. Like the food, everything. They even have like very nice massage parlors, like spas, same as Thailand.
Right, right.
In Greece, the food that I recommend is the sea bass. It's like so fresh because it comes out the water. It's so good. Thailand, same thing, like their rice. They're like they have like tours where you can like get in like a tut-tut and they'll like take you around and take you to different restaurants to try. And they have some that have like distinctive like awards that are really hard to get. In Jamaica, jerk chicken, oxtail, beef patties,
I'm a
like
huge fan of Jamaica, by the way. I've been going there since I was in college, and I must have been there a dozen times in my life. I just love Jamaica. You know,
yes,
seeing the sights, the people, it was just awesome. So I'm
10
with
out of
you on that.
10.
I'm a fan. Yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a fan for sure. So, what has all of this travel kind of taught you about yourself, your law firm, being a lawyer, empathy, and leadership? Like, and I know I threw a lot at you, but like travel, I find really is the one thing that you notice a difference when people don't travel versus people that just do it. And so, what has it taught you about yourself? Let's start with that. Like, what has it taught you about yourself, Rachel, from before you started traveling? And again, you studied abroad, so you started relatively early with international travel. But what's it taught you about yourself?
I think it teaches, for me, and I would think some other people would say this, it just teaches you that you can do hard things. I think especially like when you study abroad, it's fun at first, but then there is a certain point where like in month 1 or 2 where you're like, this is like, I kind of want to go home and like eat what I'm used to eating or do what I'm used to. Like you have a routine, and everybody thinks their routine is what the normal routine is until you go somewhere else and see that that's not that's just normal to you, or what you think that the world should be.
Yep.
So it kind of teaches you like, hey, like even when you like from solo travel trips that I've done, sometimes it's hard to figure out like a new place or like where you should go or how you should schedule your routine, or maybe the time change different. But it teaches you like, hey, like you can do this, you can figure it out. And it just opens your mind up to different ways that things can be done, or different foods you can try, or different schedules, or different outlooks on life that you can have. Even like I've went to a few conferences actually that are trips. So like there was another one I went to last year that was in Dubai, and it was really, really nice. It was a whole bunch of attorneys as well. And we were able to like go to the mosque, and we also were able to go to like a Hindu temple and like meet different people and talk to them. And you kind of notice like at the end of the day that we all are really more alike than people would like to assume.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all have like the same morals, and we all want to care about family and want to be treated with respect. And at the end of the day, I think that everyone has like those core values, even though society or like social media tries to make it seem like everything's so negative.
Yep.
And so when it comes to like transferring that into my firm, is like we try to make sure that all of our clients feel like they have our full attention at all times. We have like an app that we use that's 24/7 that they can log in and see what the status of their case is.
What
We
app
check
is
on
that?
them.
What app is that?
Case status.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
funny because we looked at Hona, we looked at case status. Recently, we just changed case management software. We're in the process of it, but we're looking really hard at case status because they offer, I haven't looked at Hona in a while, but I just recently met the case status people again. And it's super robust. It's super interesting what they're doing. We're just waiting to go live with the new software and then figure out like, does it do what we need, or do we need to add in a case status?
Are you switching to Smart Advocate or different?
No, we're actually moving to Smokeball.
Okay.
We are on Smart Advocate, but the problem was, we were all Mac. We're switching over to Windows, but we just found we needed some different things that we just weren't getting. So which one are you on right now?
I'm on my case, but we're switching to Smart Advocate. But we use all Mac as well here.
Well,
we don't use Windows
so
at all.
We had an issue with the Macs. That's what started it. But I got new operators in, and they were like, "Hey, we're moving software. Hey, we're moving hardware. Hey, so I was like, look, I don't care. Just make it all work, automated, push button workflows, all of that stuff. That's really what I wanted. So they're in the process of doing that right now. But you saying what you said was something that I think I just want to reiterate, because you said it, and it could get lost because we're covering a lot of ground, but it really does give you a different perspective when you get off a plane at a place you've never been. And you said it perfectly, which was, we all think our way of doing things is the way things are done. Maybe it's because that's a US thing. I don't know. But I never forget landing in China, and it was for business. And I was actually living in China for about 6 months, and I lived in India at the same time. I had a different business outside of the law firm. Loved India, loved the people, loved the food. China was a little more challenging because we were like deep in the border of like Pakistan, where all the manufacturing occurred. And it was a lot less friendly to Americans at the time. And so I didn't get to see much of the culture, much of the sites. India, I loved. But the feeling that I had was this overwhelming feeling of smallness, because you realize, like, I'm one in a billion people that just stepped off this plane in this country. I know no one. I'm by myself. And all of a sudden you realize, like, yeah, there's a whole world out there you haven't seen. People do things differently everywhere. And it does open your mind up. Like, that epiphany alone opens your mind up. Like, hey, for me, it changed my outlook on my business as a law firm owner, to the extent of everybody's going through something, right? Like you said, and everybody's got a different way of doing things and seeing things. We need to meet people where they are, right? So, I mean, that was one of my takeaways, which is mirroring exactly what you said, which was one of the things I found fascinating. Is our profession's moving so fast, leaps and bounds, that it looks so different from when I started my practice 25 years ago, right? And I love that, though, because it gives people like you a chance to accelerate growth at a rate I couldn't do, because this stuff just didn't exist. Masterminds didn't exist. International masterminds really didn't exist. And so it excites me for you and for people coming up, because at some point you'll be my age and you're going to see it's still accelerating that fast.
Yes,
You
always
know,
changing.
always changing. So I think that that's awesome. But I also think, you talk a lot about client-centered practice, right? So talk about how you built that with your practice. I know you're using case status. They have 24/7 access. How do you make your clients feel like the only client, right? Especially when you're traveling so much. With 3 people, it's not a lot of people, right?
Exactly. So we make sure that we call and email and update case status every week. Some of our clients don't like every week, so we could change it to 2 weeks. But we have like a rotation where we know, like, this week we need to call these specific clients. And then if they don't answer, we leave a voicemail, but we always still send an email and we always still update case status. So they know what's going on with their case, and they can always log into case status and message us if they have a question, or they can call. But as you said, like, with everything progressing in the law and just times, it seems like more people would prefer to just use case status, because people prefer to text now instead of talking on the phone. So case status has been very helpful for our practice because of the fact that it is live and it's 24/7. And as soon as they send a message, we can send them a message. They can upload pictures of the car accident. They can upload their ID. If they get like a bill in the mail they don't have a question about, they can take a picture and upload it, and it goes straight into my case, into their document tab of their file. So it's not like we're reloading anything, and everything is in real time. So they can see if I respond, it'll have my name. If my legal assistants respond, it has their name. So they know exactly like who's responding, and we can all see it in the same chat. And it also transfers over to my case as well. And so we just make sure that we're constantly like calling, emailing, using the case status, asking them if they have any questions. I'm checking on them if they're treating to see if they have any questions or how they're feeling. Are they getting better? And also in case status, they're able to log their treatment, and they're able to say, hey,
That's awesome.
I went to this appointment on this day and this was, 10 out of 10, or I have a concern, or so it'll flag, everything flags in case status. And I have it on my phone. I have it on my computer. My staff has it on their computers as well.
All right, I'm sold, man. You got me sold. I'm going to go walk over to my operator after this is over and be like, we need to get case status on the line and see how it's integrating with our new software.
Yeah, I mean, I like case status.
How many clients do you have active? How many clients you active?
So we stay under 60 cases at a time. So we don't have like a huge caseload.
But you're doing litigation?
Yes. Yeah. So we do our own litigation.
And do you try the cases as well?
Yes. So the cases that I have in litigation, I always get co-counsel as well, so that if we do try it, it's not just me sitting there by myself. Only because I used to be a prosecutor, and the way we were taught is like there's a lead counsel, and then you always have another attorney sit with you as well, just to make sure they might see something that you don't see. Yeah.
Yeah, you need 2 people as plaintiff attorney. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I have co-counsel with other solo attorneys that run their firms in Atlanta that will work on the cases with me. But a lot of times in Atlanta, I've noticed a lot of our cases usually are getting resolved in mediation. There's a lot of really good mediators here in Atlanta. And so it might take all day to get it
Right.
resolved. You might have to
Right.
sit there all day. They'll provide you lunch and things like that. But the next trial that I have on the calendar that's set to go is for January 12th. So
Oh,
right
nice.
into New
Nice.
Year. Yeah.
Good, good, good. That's what you want, right? That's what you want.
Yes.
Quick break. I just want to take a minute to thank the sponsors of the podcast. This episode is supported by TonaLaw, a modern law firm built on integrity and innovation. Learn how they're changing the game at TonaLaw.com. Attorney referrals accepted from across the country. You'll see what it's like when you send us a case. You'll have some happy clients. Are you a fully remote firm?
No, we have an office. So
Okay, so you have a brick and mortar.
yes, we
Okay.
have a brick and mortar. So we work a hybrid model, but we do have an actual office. Yeah. I'm in the
So
office
have
right
you,
now.
okay, have you
Yeah.
run into issues with clients when you are traveling? And how do you deal with that? You're the only attorney, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how do you deal with that when you're the only lawyer going off for 2 weeks, on a trip or something like that?
So when I first started my practice, everything was remote. So we've only had an office since March of 2025. So we haven't even been in this office a year yet.
Okay.
So originally everything was remote, which was fine because, like I said, we pretty much, I don't know if it's like the times or after COVID, but most of our, like 90% of our clients prefer to deal with case status, emails, phone calls, like everything remote. They only want to come into the office when it's time to close out their case and pick up their check. So they're not
Right.
constantly like wanting to come here. So everything is, I have workflows. Everything's kind of built into my case. We have templates and everything, with personal injury, there's stages for each case. So like as soon as something happens with the case where we switch it from treatment to bills and records to negotiate it, when we switch it, it alerts the client like, hey, your case just switched to collecting bills and records. This is what that means. This is
Okay.
how long that takes. And then we're calling them, we're sending them an email so they know what's going on with their case. I haven't had anything urgent come up. I maybe had one time I was in Costa Rica. I think a judge forgot that I had an LOA in, like a leave of absence, and they might have put me on the calendar for something. And so my legal assistant
Okay.
just sent them a copy of the LOA and said, hey, we already had this filed. So I do have to make sure that in the state of Georgia, I keep up with the leave of absences, that they're filed appropriately within the
Okay.
guideline. Because
So we
that
don't have that in
could
New
be a
York.
problem.
Yeah,
You
we don't
don't?
have that in New York. In a way, that's good. You could put in a leave of absence and they know you're going to be out. So there's nothing going to occur on that case while you're out.
Yeah, and I mean, every once in a while, they don't have to 100% follow the leave of absence, but from my experience, if you put it in, correctly, it follows the rules, it's not excessive, and something comes up, they will work with you, obviously. But yeah, here we have to put in LOAs. So we file
Right.
them into the case. As soon as I file a lawsuit on a case, that's automatically filed, and I'm serving that whenever I serve the lawsuit on the defendant, just to make sure that it's in the file. And then if something changes, we'll file like an amended LOA.
Gotcha. Okay. This is going to sound like an odd question, but do you find a lot of attorneys that give you actual resistance to what you do in terms of travel and all of that stuff? Like, do you feel that you get like any kind of negative feedback from people? Like, why are you doing that? You're neglecting the clients or anything like that?
No, I've never had anyone say that actually. And in my firm, we have unlimited vacation and sick time. So like my legal assistant, she just went to El Salvador for a week. So
Nice.
and my intern, she's actually going to Dubai, I think, for like a couple weeks or
Oh,
something like that
nice.
for the holidays. So I don't know. I think that I'm probably more liberal when it comes to like being off, and like then we don't have like a strict traditional working environment here. We just want to make sure that, I need you to make sure you're doing your job, obviously taking care of the clients and being respectful. But I don't have, like, when I worked at firms, it was like you get 5 days for the whole year and that's it. And I
Right.
never
Right.
liked that. I think
Right.
that you have to have a life, right? People want to be with their family. They might have kids. They might have grandparents they want to spend time with, because you can't get time back. You can always
Right.
make
Right.
money.
It's
So
funny because I was going to say that, like, life is so short. And I kind of chuckle, but I also feel bad when lawyers are like, you can't do this. And I'm like, really? Because I've been doing it for, the last 15 years, where I built the business around what I want to do with my life, and it
mhm.
runs without me Actually, I'd say it runs better without me when I'm not here for the month I go away to Europe or wherever I travel to. And so when people are like, you can't do this, I always go, no, that means you can't do it. I figured out how to do it intentionally, which it sounds like you've done. And it also trickles throughout your law firm, right? Like, you see that now people that work with you are doing the same thing. And so you avoid burnout that way. And again, they come back with a different level of empathy and understanding, not just for the clients, but for you as well. Right.
Yeah. And one of my legal assistants, she's coming, I'm bringing her with us to the mastermind in Puerto Rico. Cause I noticed at the last one that a few people, like I think Bill had his COO there.
Yep.
Different people. And I think that that's very valuable to the conversation of the mastermind of like getting perspective of other positions in the firm. And then like I went to the Lawyers on the Beach conference last year in Mexico, and I met another attorney where what she does is every year for her firm anniversary, they do a trip. So they do like a firm trip, and she changes the location and every year. And she also allows the spouses to come on those trips or whoever they want to bring with them. So it's like her staff was telling me like, oh, we include that as one of our family vacations for the year because we know when it is. She tells us a year in advance, and she pays for their family members to go on the trip with them. And you can just tell that her staff they're just very happy. Like, and I think when you have to invest in your people, you know, they'll invest back into you. So like, I never understood like not wanting to give your staff the time to be with their family or take vacations.
Well, look, it's a common debate. Like I have friends that are extremely, you know, kind of well-developed law firms, and they're like, how do you close your firm every year from the 20, like this year I'm closing the 24th through the 5th.
That's awesome.
We will have intake set up. We have all of this stuff set up, but we tell people automated emails and text messages like, hey, you know, for our clients, you'll be getting us on the 5th. You know, we're running a skeleton crew basically. But this guy never works during that time frame. And I'm like, do you really think your people come into the office and work? Because I'm telling you, they don't. I'm going to tell you, they're going to putter around from December 26th through January 5th, especially if you're not in the office, you're off doing whatever, skiing or whatever. And to me, I just said, look, I never wanted to work during that time frame when I was working for other people. The bosses would all take off and the office was open. So you know what we did? I mean, back in the day, you know, I used to drink. I don't drink, but we were nursing hangovers. We were waiting for 5 o'clock to come, just watching the clock, but no one was really working. So I was like, we started closing between Christmas Eve and New Year's every year, and people love that. They come back and they're like, I got to spend the holidays with my family. I was refreshed. I didn't have to worry the day after Christmas. Everybody's exhausted. Stay in your pajamas. I don't care. Like nothing burns down in that period. It's typically very, very slow. Right. So, you know, when people would say that, oh, you can't do that. Right. And I would actually get mocked online if I post about it on LinkedIn or whatever. Oh, you know, you're just a PI lawyer, the big lawyers, the big law people, they would be like, oh, he's just a PI lawyer. What do you expect? I'm like, dude, I make more money than you, man. What are you casting shadow on me for? Like, this ain't about that. I just live the life I want to live. It's not a pride point that you have to take your fax machine on vacation with you. You know what I mean? So I just stopped listening to it. And that's why, like, I look at somebody like you and I love that you kind of live out loud, right? Marco Brown has this saying, like, live out loud, man. Wear it on your sleeve. Tell people who you are and what you stand for. And that's what struck me the most about you when we met on the catamaran. I was like, I really like her. Like, she's really like, you're living out loud. You're doing it the way you want to do. And that to me is why you open up a practice, right? You want to do it on your terms, for your clients, the way you want. And so I give you a lot of kudos for that. I think it's awesome. And that's why I thought I wanted people to get to know you too. I'm excited to see you in Puerto Rico, by the way. So
yes, it's going to be fun. I'm sure they'll have a boat or something that we'll get on there.
Yeah, I signed up right away for it. I was excited. So what do you have? Any advice for other professionals who want to live out loud, but they're afraid to kind of step out of the, you know, the traditional thought process that we're kind of ingrained with through law school and all the jobs we've ever had?
One of my mentors, I'm in another mastermind group that I joined like 3 months into starting my practice, and it's virtual. We meet every Friday. But one of my mentors that runs that group, his name is Chris Smalls, and he said says to sit down and write out what you want your life to look at. Like, what kind of car do you want to drive? Where do you want to live? What kind of house do you want to live in? Like, how many vacations you want to take? Like, all these things, and like add up what you think it costs. And he's like, usually it's a lower number than what you think it is. But once you figure out like what you want and how you want your life to look, then you know, can model everything else kind of around that to make it fit. So I think sometimes people do it backwards, in the sense that they're like, hey, I want to do this, this, and this. Like, they've already built the practice a certain way. So it's a little harder to rebuild. It's not impossible, but to like move stuff around versus saying from the beginning, hey, I want my life to look like this. I want to live here. I want to practice here. So that way, you know what kind of decisions to make when you're building like your business. Because for some people that travel a lot, that I talk to other attorneys, I'm just lucky. I live in Atlanta and there's so many solo attorneys here, and everybody is pretty much well traveled, running a firm. Some of them have kids, like they're like doing everything. It's like amazing. And a lot of them, they just run remote firms. And I think that's a decision that they made because they know that they like to travel.
Right.
You know, versus getting an office and then finding out I'm not even here. You know, you kind of got to work backwards if that's something that you want to do. But I think that sitting down and deciding, you know, this is what you want will help you figure out what you don't want and how you should
and
move.
what you say no to. I always say it's not even what you say yes to, it's what you say no to. I did this thing. I was talking with Jennifer Gore, who's out of Atlanta, right?
Yes.
And I'm fascinated by her because she's just living this super out loud life. You know, she puts it all out there. But we were talking over at a cocktail hour at a recent conference, the AI Era Conference, Best Era Conference, which was fantastic if you're into AI. And she turned me on to the Steve Harvey 300 list, right? Where you list out 300 things you want to be, do, or have in your life. And what's cool about it, I'm still working my way through it, but what's cool about it is it's easy to list like the first 60 things. 100 things. Where it gets really interesting is when you're trying to go from 100 things to 300 things, and you got to get granular. You can't say, I want to be rich. What does that mean? What's the dollar amount you want in retirement? What's the passive income? That type of stuff. And I just loved it because like you said, what ends up happening is as you do this stuff, and I've always been a big proponent of writing these plans out, lifetime plans, quarterly plans, all of that. I'm the type of person where I will do it once and then I don't look back on it for a year. The fascinating thing is every time I do it, I look back in a year and I've crossed everything off I wanted to do. So I think that that's fantastic that you're doing that practice. Yeah, and it typically comes from people that coach you or mentor you that know that stuff works, right? If you write it down, subconsciously it's already in your head, or consciously it's in your head. And then if you're like somebody like you or me, you start saying no to things that don't align with it, right? Because we can get pulled in 100 different directions at any given time. So I think that that's great advice for anybody listening to this, and I love that you're doing it. All right, so I do want to be respectful of your time. What's on tap travel-wise for 2026 in addition to Puerto Rico?
So I'm going to Panama for New Year's, so that'll go into 2026.
Nice.
I think I'm going to go to South Africa. I've been wanting to go there for a while. I would like to try to get to Australia. Have not been to Australia. And then I have two friends. One is getting married in Mexico, so I'm going back to Mexico. And then I have a friend that's getting married in Santorini, Greece. So I'll go back to Greece and try to.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, I might try to go to Turkey or somewhere I haven't been, try to attach it to the Greece trip. But yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. If you're going to do Australia, talk to Seth Price, because I think he went to college there. Or he went to law school or college there. He studied abroad. And he just got back. And you could tell he's smitten with Australia.
Okay, well, I'll have to reach out to him and see. I'm sure he'll be in Puerto Rico probably too. Yeah,
he will be, actually. I'm pretty sure. So look, I can't thank you enough for coming on and doing this. I'm excited to see you in Puerto Rico. I think that I wish I had, you know, the ability to do what you're doing at the time of your career that you're doing it. Like I look back and when I met you, I was so envious because they didn't have these things when I was coming up. It was you went to law school, you went to work at a firm, you tried cases, you opened your own practice, whatever it is. I had to figure that stuff out Whereas you're in the rooms where people are, it's like-mindedness. And so it is allowing you to accelerate. And I think that's awesome. Like you are like the poster child for, you don't have to choose between your passion and your profession. It's a big, big world. Go find your voice, because you're doing it in such an admirable way that if anybody meets you, like, your energy is infectious. And I think that you're living proof that you can build the practice that you want. Right. Or just have the life you want. You're living by design. And that's what I always admire about people. It doesn't matter your age or your, where you are in the economic strata of things. Like, if you're living intentionally, that to me is everything. You're living by design. And I love that. So I think that that's awesome, because that's what you stand for. And I picked that up on you right away. So I appreciate you coming on and sharing with the audience.
Well, I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to come on here and share. And I definitely appreciate everyone who is in the mastermind that's helpful, like providing advice. I mean, everyone's so eager to help. So if you're listening to the podcast and you want to join a mastermind, I say join one as soon as possible.
Absolutely. I mean, I tell people all the time, I think I've invited 3 different people this week to John Fisher's mastermind. And also Ryan McKean's got a great one. It's the Best Era. I don't know if you're part of that.
I haven't heard of that one.
It's $1 a day. You belong to a Slack channel, right? Where you can literally talk about anything that you want to talk about, ask questions, and you got a wide array of law firm owners on there. It's all law firm owners. But now he also does like conferences, which I'm so mad. He did one conference last year, Unreasonable Hospitality, based on the book by Will Guidara, which I am now obsessed with. Like, that's my mission for 2026, is becoming a wildly, unreasonably hospitable law firm for the clients, and scaling that, running that across, thousands of clients, running that across, hundreds of no-fault clients and all of that stuff. So have you read that book, by the way?
No, Chris had mentioned it in the mastermind, but it's on my list. I guess I need to move it up.
Yeah, you got to read it, because based upon your philosophy with your clients, it should really resonate with you. And I'm so mad because Ryan did a 2-day conference on it. I couldn't make it. And after going to the AI one he just did, I was like, oh, they're putting on some really substantive conferences. Like, I walked out of there with dozens of projects and work I wanted to work on in AI. And I kind of wish I was there for the Unreasonable Hospitality one. So highly recommend it.
I have to look his conferences up, see if I can get to
listen,
one.
You join the Slack channel, it's $350 or something like that. I think it's going to $500 after New Year's. But you've got great people in there that then you meet, and it's all the people that you've either met on the circuits of the conferences we do, or you know them from LinkedIn or something like that. But everybody shares really freely. I highly, highly encourage it. Yeah.
Well, thank you. I'll look into that. And thank you for having me on your podcast.
Absolutely. Listen, thanks for coming on. I'm looking forward to seeing you in Puerto Rico.
Yes, me too. Merry Christmas.
You too. Merry Christmas. Thank you for listening to this episode of Lead Counsel Podcast. Your host, Tom Tona. Go anywhere podcasts are distributed. Follow us. Leave us a 10-star review. Share some episodes with your friends. And thanks for listening. I appreciate it. Thank you. This episode is sponsored by TonaLaw. They're not just another law firm. They're defining what it means to fight for their clients. We get a lot of attorney referrals from across the country. We pay fee participation in all jurisdictions where it's permitted. We focus on integrity, innovation, and relentless advocacy. TonaLaw is proving that the business of law can scale without losing its heart. If you want to see how a modern firm is built for impact and happy client referrals, check out TonaLaw.com. Mention again the Lead Counsel Podcast, and I'm happy to get on the phone with you.